Another advantage of particle flow is that it is a node-based schematic-style creation environment. The main dialog for editing particle flow events is called the particle view. Here you use nodes, called operators, to define the properties of the particles. These properties include the shape, speed, direction, and rotation for each particular event. Test nodes can be added to each event to test particles for various parameters, including the age of the particle, the speed, and whether it has collided with an object or not. Based on this test, a particle is then sent to another event that redefines that particle based on the parameters within the event. This process of connecting events provides for an extremely flexible particle creation tool. In this lesson, we'll create a very simple multi-event particle flow that simulates a swarm of bees flying from one hive to another, then to a third hive, and then slowly flying away from that hive. Let's go ahead and open the file Chapter 9 pflow01.max from the Chapter 9 datasets directory in our current project directory. You'll see this scene is a very simple scene with 3 poles and 3 beehives hanging from them. First, we need to add a particle flow source to our scene. Do this by clicking on the Create panel, select the Geometry option, then select Particle Systems from the Geometry drop-down list. In the Object Type rollout, click the PF Source button, and in the top view, click and drag to create a particle flow emission source. We'll leave the name as the default for now. Go ahead and click on the Modify tab. Then in the Particle Flow Source Setup rollout, click the Particle View button. This opens the Particle View dialog. The first thing we want to do is change where the particles are initially emitted from. We're going to leave the birth of the particles alone, and currently they're emitted from frames 0 to 30 with a total of 200 particles emitted. That means that we'll have 200 bees flying around. To do this, click and drag the Position Object operator on top of the Position Icon operator in the Event 001 box. You should see a red line appear. This will indicate that you will overwrite the old Position Icon operator with a new Position Object operator. Click on the Position Object operator. In the Position Object rollout for the operator's parameters, Emitter Objects options, click the By List button. From the Select Emitters Objects list, choose Hive 001, then click Select. The next step is to drag a Speed by Surface operator out into Event 001 and overwrite the original speed operator in the event. Select the operator in the event and change the speed to 6 inches. In the Surface Geometry option, click the By List button. From the Select Surface Objects list, choose Hive 001, then click Select. In order to have the bees find the next hive, we want to add the Find Target Test operator to the bottom of Event 001. Click and drag the Find Target Test to the bottom of Event 001. You should see a blue line appear this time. Let go of the mouse button, and that will place the test as the last entry in Event 001. Click the Find Target event we just added. In the Control Speed by Area, set the speed to 3 feet 6 inches. This will set the speed that the bees will be cruising on their way to the next beehive. In the target area, choose the Mesh Objects option. This will allow us to choose scene geometry as the target that our bees are going to find. Go ahead and click the By List button. From the Select Target Object dialog, select the Hive 002 object, then click Select. Now we want to add the Speed by Surface to a new event. Click and drag the Speed by Surface operator to an open area in the Particle View work area. This will create Event 002. Click on the Speed by Surface operator. Set the speed to 5 feet. In the Surface Geometry option, click on the By List button. From the Select Surface Objects list, choose Hive 002, then click Select. This will set the speed of the bees once they get to the second beehive. Now let's get the bees over to the third beehive. We'll do this by adding another Find Target test as the last operator in Event 002. Go ahead and click and drag the Find Target test to the bottom of Event 002. Click the Find Target event we just added. In the Control by Speed area, set the speed to 5 feet. This will set the speed the bees will be cruising at on their way to the next beehive. In the Target area, choose the Mesh Objects option. This will allow us to choose scene geometry as the target that the bees are going to find. Go ahead and click the By List button. From the Select Target Objects dialog, select the Hive 003 object, then click Select. This adds the third beehive to the path of our bees. In order to have the first Find Target test properly route the particles that meet the criteria of that test, we need to click and drag from the output node of the first Find Target test to the input node of the event. Go ahead and click and drag from the Find Target in the Event 001 to the input of Event 002. Now we want to tell them to slowly fly away from the third beehive. Click and drag a Speed by Surface operator to an open area in our Particle View work area. Select the Speed by Surface. In the Speed by Surface Parameters rollout, set the speed to 2 inches. For the surface geometry, click the By List button. Choose the Hive 003 object and click Select. Now click and drag from the output of the second Find Target test to the input of Event 3. Go ahead and play the animation. You should see the bees travel from the first beehive over to the second beehive, then turn and travel to the third beehive. Notice that with only 100 frames, we don't see the entire sequence of particle events. Let's go ahead and click on the Time Configuration button. This opens the Time Configuration dialog. In the animation area, change the length to 500 and click OK. This readjusts the length of our animation to be 500 frames. Click play. You should now see the entire animation.